Hey guys, welcome back to the video. This video is a little different. As you guys can see, I'm back in my normal setting. Right? Anyway, so is that. Gonna be going over some things that you like. We're gonna go like top 5. How many things I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's top 7. Top 7 things that. Top 7 miracles. I'm sorry. Top 7 miracles that Jesus did in his life. Right? Number 1, and I'll tell you also where to find the miracles. Number 1 is where Jesus turns water into wine. You can find where Jesus turns water into wine in John 2, verse 1. Also, if you guys see me looking up here, I have it written down so I can remember. Because, yeah, I think it's more efficient. I have a little post-it note where I just read it from. So, if you guys see me looking away, yeah. Don't mind the background. The next one we have in the list is the fish hall, which that's just what I have titled as. This is where Jesus. This is where Peter, Andrew, James and John. James and John are brothers, and Andrew and Peter are brothers. If you guys didn't know. Those were 4 apostles. They were all childhood friends, and basically, yeah, they grew up fishing with their fathers, and yeah, and that time, they were fishing one night. They were fishing for days. They didn't catch nothing, and supposedly Jesus was on the shore teaching. Like when sunrise, they were fishing all night, and it was like the last night to catch fish or something like that, and when they were done and they were when they were about to pull their boats into the shore during the daytime, like to just totally quit, Jesus was there and he was teaching about fish. So that's pretty cool. And basically when they were drawing their boats in, Jesus asked to stand on their boats so people can like so he can be like up higher so they can hear him better. And Peter agreed. So actually I shouldn't even refer to him as Peter right now. Simon, because Simon is his real name, agreed. So Simon and Andrew brothers, James and John brothers. Peter is not his real name. We'll get into that. I'll clarify that right now. But Jesus was talking. He was talking about fish. How the thing what Jesus was talking about was when fishermen catch fish. Later, when they're done, they sit down and they separate the fish, the good fish, the bad fish, and the bad fish are thrown back into the water, and the good fish are put into bins and taken back. You know, like the good fish are good. You know, those fish are fine to eat. Those fish are fine to sell. You know, but the bad fish get thrown away, and they basically get sorted out. And yeah. What that really means right there, that little story that Jesus was telling, is in Judgment Day, Jesus himself is going to sit there and, like, he's going to separate the good people from the bad people, and the bad people are going to be thrown away, and the good people will enter heaven. That's kind of what he meant in that little story. And basically, I guess Jesus want to, like, show the people and also show Peter, John, and Andrew, and James, like, what he really was gonna do. So he after he got off the boat, he told Simon Peter, and it says Simon Peter in the Bible. He told Simon, he's like, no, can you guys go out one more, just one more time, just go out. That's what Jesus told Simon, and he's like, just throw your nets down just one more time, that's it. And they were a little hesitant in the Bible, and but Jesus insisted, so they went out and they put their nets into the water, and they had 2 boats. I'm pretty sure they had one on the left and one on the right. Peter and Andrew were on one side, and Simon and Andrew on one side, and James and John were on the other side, and they put their nets down. They picked it back up, and there was so much fish in that net that they filled both of their boats and came back. with 2 boatloads worth. That's biblical. It says in the Bible they came back with 2 boatloads worth of fish. And Simon came up to Jesus. He was so shocked. They were all so shocked, and Simon fell to his knees, and he says, "Lord, depart from me, for I'm a sinful man. I'm a horrible man. I've done bad things in my life." And Jesus says, I'm pretty sure Jesus said something about like he was like I will make you fishers of men. What he meant by I will make you fishers of men. You're gonna be for my kingdom. This is what Jesus meant. You're gonna be in my kingdom, and you're gonna get people. You're gonna round people up and bring people into my kingdom. You're gonna show people my kingdom, and you're gonna bring them into my kingdom. That's what he meant by I will make you fishers of men. And Jesus was like, I will now nickname you Peter. And that's where now we call him Peter. So his original name was Simon, now we call him Peter. That I kind of went really deep into that one. You guys can go read that one. You can go find the fish haul in Luke chapter 5, verse 1. Another one that I personally I think I've read, but I haven't read too thoroughly, so I can't really go into depth with it too much, is where Jesus cast out an unclean spirit. I'm pretty sure I read it before, like once or twice when I was going through the Bible, but I didn't thoroughly read it as much, as I should have. I might do that one of these days, But where you can find where Jesus casts out the unclean spirit in the book of Mark, chapter 1, verse 23. And I don't know about the next one. So we're on number 4 right now, where Peter's mother-in-law is, where she has like a horrible fever or something like that, and she's super ill. She's a little bit older, so she's not doing too good. She's in Peter's house at the moment, and Peter's wife is like really stressing out. Peter's stressing out. Jesus didn't want to take Peter on the journey yet, even though Jesus told Peter to follow him. He was like, he could see that Peter was like, he was really stressed out, and he didn't want to take Peter stressed out. So Jesus knew what Peter was thinking, and Jesus went to Peter's house, and basically what Jesus did is Jesus laid his hands over Peter's mother-in-law, which is Peter's wife's mother, and she was just like, she was cured, and she got out of bed and she was fine. And then Jesus took Peter. Peter wasn't worried no more. And then he took Peter, and then they went out and set off. So you can find that Peter's mother-in-law being healed in Mark chapter 1, verse 30. So don't get this mixed up with the last one. Where Jesus cast out unclean spirits is Mark 1:23, and where Peter's mother-in-law is cured is Mark 1, verse 30, I believe. That should be. Yeah, just in the back. One of my favorites is where Jesus feeds the 5,000. We're on number 5, I believe. Yeah, 5. Alright, so this is number 5. Where Jesus feeds the 5,000. Go read Matthew 14:13. There's not really me for breakdown there. Is basically Jesus wants to feed the people because he, I talked about this before. Like the word is spiritual food, like preaching is spiritual food, so we eat spiritually. But Jesus wanted to feed the people physically as well, but they only had 3 fishes or something like that. I can't exactly remember. I might just look real quick. Was it Matthew 14:13? You guys can go find that. Honestly, that has to be one of my favorites. It was Matthew. Where is it? Yep, Jesus feeds the 5,000 right here. When Jesus heard that what happened with When Jesus heard what happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. I'm just looking for like the major part of it. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. And when Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, which is the crowd of the 5,000, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. And as evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place," like a solitary place, they were saying, "and is already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and they can buy themselves some food." So the disciples were like there was no town in sight. Like, they were pretty far from a town, and the disciples were telling Jesus they should leave now so they can get home as soon as possible, so it's not dark, and then they can eat, because they haven't eaten in a while. It's been a while, you know. And Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat. We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish." Okay, so they had 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish. The disciples only had 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish, right? Jesus was like, he said, "Bring them here to me," he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and looked up to heaven, and gave thanks, and broke the loaves, he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people, and they all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 baskets full. So he didn't just feed like 5 people; he feed 5,000 people. So Jesus had it's about to talk about this. They had enough. They had baskets. All the disciples were going around with baskets of fish and bread and feeding people. They were just handing it out. Jesus gave thanks, and he blessed the food, and then he multiplied all of it. But then he was able to fill multiple baskets worth of fish and bread, and he gave the baskets to the disciples, and they went around through all the crowds and just giving them all the food they needed. They all ate and were satisfied. The disciples picked up 12 baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate. I'm sorry, I got mixed up. So they had 12 basketfuls of leftovers. So they definitely probably were holding baskets going through and feeding, but the leftovers were 12 baskets. Sorry, I got that little mixed up right there. The numbers of those who ate was about 5,000 men, they're saying not including women and children. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That was where Jesus fed the 5,000. I basically read it to you guys, but if you guys want to go read it for yourself, that's Matthew 14:13. That's where it starts. If you guys want to go read the blind man, I'll skim over this one. Me personally, I haven't fully read this one, but another thorough one I haven't read too thoroughly was where Jesus heals a blind man, where he spits on the floor, spits on the dirt, he makes mud, and then he rubs it on the man's eyes, I'm pretty sure. And Jesus tells the blind man to go rinse off in a pool, and he does, and basically he's purely, like, he can see. And yeah, if you guys want to go read that, that's John 9:1. And then the best one of all, number 7 of all the miracles in the Bible, is Romans 6 verse 8. And let's see if you guys can guess what this is. This is the greatest one in all of history, the greatest miracle to ever exist in all of miracles. The sole reason that we can go to heaven is in Romans 6 verse 8. This is where Jesus is resurrected. Yes, that is a miracle. People don't know that. People don't really think of it as like a miracle. It's like turning water to wine. No. Jesus' resurrection itself was a miracle. It is the greatest miracle of all humanity, and personally my favorite. Yeah, no, a lot of people, it has to be like a lot of people's favorites too, you know? But that's really all I have for you guys. Sorry for the background noise. I'm really trying to talk over it and try to get closer to the phone. But yeah, I apologize for that. And it, I apologize for that. Have a God bless day, guys. Jesus Christ loves you. Hope you guys can focus. I'll probably make a revision of this video, maybe just for like an apology, because I know it's pretty loud, but I really tried. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, because it feels pretty loud. I don't know if this is background music, but thank you guys for watching this video. Have a God bless day. In His name.